And especially want to thank all the people who are lined up behind me, both from the state and from here in Evangeline Parish in the city of Ville Platte. Unfortunately, the state of Louisiana experienced some more severe weather early this morning across the state, and we've had at least 3 instances of tornadoes suspected in this region of the state, in Allen, Beauregard, and here in Evangeline Parish. We also have a suspected tornado that touched down in St. Helena Parish in the village of Montpelier this morning as well, around 8:30. And then also over in this area, potentially not tornado, but we have Acadia and St. Landry, which sustained storm damage. And I want to thank all of the people of this part of the state who have just been good neighbors to one another, all the first responders who've been working so hard all day and will continue to work into the night, helping citizens who are without electricity, whose homes have been damaged, who have received a lot of debris and so forth in their yards and on the roads. Very fortunately, there's not been a loss of life, but the hospital here in Evangeline Parish in Ville Platte has reported that there have been 3 relatively non-serious injuries that were weather-related. We know that thousands remain without power. Just in this region, about 22,000 without electricity. We know that CLECO is on the ground. They are surging. They're bringing in contract labor from outside the region in order to try to get electricity back up and running as quickly as possible. But there are downed trees all over the region, in yards, on streets, in highways, and in rights-of-way. We also have dozens of utility poles that are either broken or uprooted, and we have electricity lines that are down and across roads and so forth. And so we're asking everyone to be extremely cautious. We've been very fortunate that there hasn't been a loss of life or a serious injury yet. Quite often in these types of natural disasters, when that's the case, we will have a serious accident or even a fatality when individuals go out and start to clean up, either through operating a chainsaw or a tree falls the rest of the way, or they touch a power line that they thought was not live and it turned out to be live. We're asking everyone, therefore, to be very cautious and patient. This is not a time for sightseeing, and so we're also asking that everyone monitor their local authorities, heed the warnings and the advice that they are given. We know that here in Ville Platte area and Evangeline Parish, it appears that most of the damage was sustained here, or at least that this parish was damaged most severely. Just here in Ville Platte area, there's about 6,600 residents without power. At least 50 homes have been damaged by falling trees. We know that the gas telephone days. We need enforcement for patrols in Ville Platte and elsewhere throughout Evangeline Parish this evening. They'll be provided by the Louisiana State Police, also the Ville Platte Police Department and the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office. We also have the chiefs of police from this region. Will be sending officers over here as well, and we thank them very much for that. Evangeline Parish President Ryan Williams has issued a state of emergency declaration. I will be issuing a declaration of a statewide emergency later today. We want to make sure that everyone understands that we've been experiencing this severe weather for the last several weeks. We don't know exactly what the forecast is going to bring us over the next few days as people are out trying to clean up and get their lives back to normal, but we're asking them to be as safe as they possibly can. Schools here in Evangeline Parish were already scheduled to be closed tomorrow except for the teachers. So the good news is we won't be trying to run school buses in Evangeline Parish, and I would encourage everyone to be listening for the school system here tomorrow about schools on Tuesday. I think they can anticipate that schools will be open. It will likely be subject to whether electricity has been restored. There are no shelters open. The number of individuals who actually need sheltering is relatively small, so we don't anticipate opening a shelter either. We are asking that they use family or friends. But if they don't have someone with respect to sheltering opportunities, we would ask them to make sure that they're contacting their authorities here in Evangeline Parish and Ville Platte. We're going to try to make sure that there is some assistance for them. Now, the damage assessments will take place this week here in Evangeline Parish and throughout the region, just to see whether the threshold has been met that might allow us to ask for some federal assistance. At this time, we don't anticipate that that will be the case, and so I want to manage expectations. I don't believe we will be getting assistance as it relates to either public or private assistance. So at this point in time, I think that completes the information that we have available for everyone. But I do want to thank Mayor Jennifer Vadrine. We've got EOC Director Liz Hill with us. I mentioned Ryan Williams, who is president of the police jury here in Evangeline Parish. We also have Neil Artigue, the chief of police for Ville Platte. Jeremy Mitchell, who's the chief deputy for the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office. We've got Assessor Dirk DeVille, and of course we've got a couple of legislators here as well, Senator Eric LaFleur and Bernard Labat. I also want to thank the folks from the state level. Participating by phone conference was Secretary Sean Wilson of DOTD. He wasn't able to be here. He was too far away in the state, but we do have Kevin Reeves, Superintendent of State Police. We have Major General Glenn Curtis, the Adjutant General of the National Guard, and Jim Wascom, who runs the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. Obviously, we're thankful to have Chris Harrison, who is the Chief of the Department as well. So we will take your questions, and I will answer them if possible. If not, Mike, who can answer your question?
Survey any of the extensive damage that occurred?
Yeah, I'm anticipating.
Governor Edwards speaking there in Evangeline Parish, where there was multiple damages from a possible tornado today. There was severe weather in the area. He spoke about how 6,600 residents are without power and about 50 homes suffered damage. We are covering that currently right now. We'll have more tonight, and Governor Edwards also saying that schools will be closed tomorrow. It was already planned for schools to be closed, and they are looking at Tuesday as well. It possibly will be open, but they are still in the process of getting that information and looking into the damage. And the parish president of Evangeline Parish has made a proclamation of a state of emergency declaration, and Governor Edwards says he will also make a state of emergency as well for the state, and we'll keep you updated with more information. Again, that was Governor Edwards speaking with the residents and also officials in Evangeline Parish about the severe weather. Stay with us.